Good evening, lovely people of your house or your office or the hotel room that you're locked in forever. Would you please clap? Cheer. Welcome to the stage, your host, Steve Cross. Hello! Hello, everybody. I bent down too far. And all the blood went to my head, and I've just eaten a whole bag of brown hula hoops. So I'm a bit, hey, right. Guess what I had for dinner?
Brown hula hoops.
No. 20 questions. 20 questions on what I had for dinner, and the first person who gets it gets 2 points for their team. Okay, 20 questions. Off you go.
An entire jar of olives.
No.
Was it?
Wait, one at a time. You got to use the questions to narrow it down, teams.
Was it a carb?
I'll say yes. A lot of it was a carb.
Based on a carb. Okay.
Potato?
It was not potato based.
Was it a balanced meal?
Sorry?
Was it a balanced meal?
Oh, what a waste
Yes.
of a question.
It was a balanced meal.
Were any of the elements deep fried?
Sorry, Amy?
Were any of the elements deep fried?
Yes.
Nice. Was the carb pasta?
No.
Ooh.
Was it a luxury homemade version of a takeaway?
No. It was an actual takeaway.
Oh, damn.
Oh, it was a takeaway. Ooh,
It's Chinese.
surely.
Incorrect. No.
Was it
Fried though.
Middle class it up a bit. Come on.
Onion
Was
bhaji.
No.
Was it Indian?
No.
Was it rice based?
No.
Was it KFC?
What carb is left?
No.
Steve, it doesn't eat meat. Is it food?
Bread.
It did include bread.
Was it some sort of burger?
No.
Pizza?
I don't think we get any closer, Steve.
5
Good.
questions left, Rod.
5 to
give
go.
me.
Let's get some suggestions from the audience.
Hot noodle sandwich. Very bold.
I don't eat fish, Keith. Right,
Fish
5
and
to
chip.
go. With everything you know, can you get it down to what it was?
So it's a bread based takeaway that's not a burger. So
And deep
It's on a
fried.
kebab.
and there's a
Deep
fried
fried
element.
on kebab.
Sorry, Rod?
Is it deep
Right.
fried on kebab? That's the only thing
I'm a
left.
vegetarian, so no.
I did say that. Missing the clues.
The pizzeria near me does like deep fried dough strips.
Yeah.
Was it anything like that?
It wasn't a deep fried dough strip.
Was the fried element cheese?
No.
Fuck off, Jacob.
Wasn't
We love
cheese.
Jacob. Jacob made 3 points.
Not even hit every carb. Here we are.
2 to go.
We're kind of vegetarian sushi.
Deep fried.
Bread
bread.
based.
Fried bread. Yeah, okay. I'm on rice still. No good. Jacob knows.
Steve, is it 1 or 2 questions left?
1.
Oh God, I think we have no hope.
That's not the fingers of one.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the remaining one there.
Oh, I see.
1.
Just
I can't wiggle the one that's not out.
You know, fair.
Oh.
Bread based fried.
I like the halloumi sandwich suggestion.
It
What's the cheese,
was a deep fried goat's cheese and vegetable calzone.
Yeah.
That is cheese.
The
Delicious.
cheese itself was not fried. It was wrapped in bread. No cheese touched any oil.
Calzone
The bread
itself.
was deep
Before
fried.
it was, yeah.
Sorry?
Calzone
the
itself.
whole calzone never even went in an oven, as far as I could tell.
Nice.
They cooked it in a deep fryer.
Yeah. We used to do them at Theo's.
Goat cheese, courgettes, red peppers, and aubergines in the middle. And let me tell you, it was good, but also getting an Uber afterwards, I felt pretty nauseous.
And nothing without the brown hula hoop chaser as well.
You need a brown hula hoop chaser. Like that was 3 hours ago. The carbs have worn off. Let's crack on. Hello, friends. Welcome to Never Explain, where I reveal what I've eaten to 5 disgusted people. My name's Steve Cross. I'm your host today. I'm going to be asking 2 teams of incredibly talented science people a number of questions to which they don't know the answer because there is no answer. But they'll come up with a decent answer and they'll get points for it. And those points will be counted by Wales's largest contribution to the field of number theory, graph theory and hair care theory. It's Jones the Maths. Jones, how have you been? I hear you're locked in a hotel.
I am locked in a hotel where I've been for the last, I don't know, 9 days, 10 days, a million days. What are days anymore? I've lost the ability to count, and that's my only job.
I mean, they tell you what day it is on daytime TV. Just watch that. It's the problem with your time shifted telly is it doesn't remind you what day it is on a regular basis. Whereas that's why people who are losing their minds due to neurodegeneration watch a lot of daytime TV. 11:30 today on Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
You have no idea
It's
how much.
11:30.
You have no idea how much Stephen Mulhern I've seen recently. That's how much daytime TV, and that's nothing to do with the masturbation I mentioned earlier.
I have no idea who Stephen Mulhern is. Well, that's Jones the Maths. Just jerk into daytime TV. Let's go and find out who our 2 teams are. So the way this game works is the 2 teams, they get questions, they answer them. We're going to go and visit 1950s stylish air hostess Aimee first. Aimee, hello. Who are you? What are your science credentials? And any comedy credentials you have, we'll have those as well.
Amazing. So hello, I'm serving Jet Set Eleganza. My name's Aimee. I have a PhD in cancer biology. I currently write Words Good for that big UK breast cancer charity. I also love cabaret.
Do you want to advertise them?
Yeah, Breast Cancer Now.
Yeah.
I also love cabaret, comedy, burlesque, drag, anything sparkly and wonderful. So that is why I moonlight as Dr. Jiggs Boson, an international celebrity based on that one time I performed in Ireland.
Absolutely incredible. That's Breast Cancer Now that Aimee works there for, set up to just go against the charity Breast Cancer. Yeah, one day.
Breast Cancer Now. We do research and emotional support, everything.
Yeah, but they're all about getting on with it. Whereas breast cancer, eventually,
whenever.
Don't donate money to them because they might never get around to it. Terrible procrastinators. And Laura, you're going to be joining Aimee on this team. Who are you? What are your science and comedy credentials?
Hello. Yes, my name is Laura. So when Steve asked me to be on the show, I was like, being paid to do something that I have absolutely no experience in. That sounds pretty much like my day job. So basically, I'm an apprentice scientist, meaning I do the same things as like grown-up scientists, but just for less money and with more mistakes. And we get told as kids that mistakes are how we learn, right? But not. Basically, mistakes are how you end up crying on a Friday night, sat by the centrifuge, questioning your life choices. So the fact that that's not part of the Key Stage 2 science syllabus is kind of deeply upsetting to me because I would have liked to have known. But basically, what I do for a living is I cut up fresh human tumours and chuck various anti-cancer drugs on them. Unlike Aimee, I'm really not picky. I'll take whatever's good. And obviously, this was my career from a young age. No, actually, I was a marine biologist before this, but then I thought dolphins, coral reefs, kind of boring. So I settled for cancerous colons.
Amazing. Lovely to meet you, Laura. I mean, I think the assembled panel here will tell you that the main thing that you learn from making mistakes doing science is to just jack science in as quickly as you can. It's a terrible thing. Wonderful. What's your team name?
We are the Cancer Girls with our powers combined.
Phenomenal. Right. Let's fly over to Belle Taylor up in London's own Scotland. Belle, what are your science and comedy credentials? How did you end up here?
Hello, so I'm Belle Taylor. I'm a flame chemist by training, but these days I spend my time doing comms and engagement at a university maths department. I moved up to Edinburgh last year in lockdown, so I've yet to meet any humans. I've been going slowly insane in my own house. Comedy-wise, I co-host Our Disgusting Planet with my partner in crime, Charlotte Mycura, and it's a show that aims to bust taboos and normalise the disgusting. So our favourite stories involve poos, bums and moon cups. So if you've got anything gross to share, please just send me a message.
Don't poo in a moon cup. That's my advice.
But yeah, I do.
Charlotte would. Charlotte is Belle's co-host, friends. Who I was doing one of their shows, and just as an experiment, I dragged Charlotte back on stage. I went, Charlotte, what's the grossest thing you've done this week? She said, I haven't done anything gross this week, but I did drink a glass of my housemate's piss on a bet. It's like
Such a Shah story.
It's a Shah story to think it wasn't that gross compared to what she does normally. Let's fly over to Rod. He's in the Swindon area. Rod, hello. What are your science and comedy credentials? How do you come to be here?
I'm in Swindon area. Well, my credentials are a bit of a mess, really. So when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a doctor because I was already developing a bit of a morbid interest in death and a blossoming God complex. So that or Knight Rider were my plans. But I ended up doing physics, and that's mostly because the physics degree I found had a year studying in France. And I really quite like the idea of eating good food, drinking lovely red wine, and shrugging for a year. I then did automotive PhD. It wasn't quite like Knight Rider, but unlike medical doctors, I did get to wear leather trousers to work, which I think is something we could all learn from. But it turned out engineering was really hard, so I jacked that in, as you suggested. But I still like spending time with clever people. So I started the festival tomorrow last year.
Amazing. Rod there with his terrible Gaulois habit that he's developed over the year. He's never there without 5 jetons hanging out of his mouth. So those are our teams. This is what our teams are going to do. I'm going to ask them questions. Oh, guess who hasn't opened the questions? Whoops. I'm going to fill for a moment while my email opens up and I go and find the questions. And now I have to think of what unique word will be in the email that I never Laura's name. That's surely only in this email have I ever sent this to. Yes, I've got them, Ned. Oh, hello, bonus round. Good friends, it's wonderful to be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them questions every time they say something that makes me laugh or would make me.
No.
Surely not.
Oh, is it Steve we've lost?
No.
I thought it was me.
Steve's gone.
Oh, it's Steve.
Unprecedented.
For once.
We haven't covered our team name. We should cover our team name while we wait for him to come back.
Yeah. Explain your team name while you're at it.
So this was obviously Belle's idea. I could have stopped out of it.
Sorry.
It's fine. We're explaining the team name.
So Rod, why are we?
Right. So
our team name, we wanted to like celebrate the wonderful genius that is My Octopus Teacher, if anyone's seen that, where the guy learns wisdom from his pet octopus, and the coming together of the monkey and the human embryo in a chimera. So Belle and I are gonna adopt this monkey human monster, so we can raise it and learn wisdom from it. Maybe the true meaning of Christmas, that sort of stuff. That's our team name.
Have we lost Steve again? It looks
Steve's
like
gone again. Who's wild? I mean, we've got the questions.
Yeah,
it's really froze frame on a unfortunate face for him. Actually, no, that does quite summarize his personality in many ways, doesn't it?
He's sort of looking in disgust at the things he's written for us to answer.
If somebody just tells a pun, that face is appropriate. Oh, he's back.
So sorry.
It's okay.
One of the many pieces of equipment keeping my Wi-Fi up is developing a boo 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 boo. Or my partner's watching 4K Antiques Roadshow inside. What was I going to say? Every time our teams say something that makes me laugh or would make me laugh if I wasn't turning into a deep fried calzone, you'll hear this noise. And I'm mainly pressing this noise so that Sarah can check that she can hear this noise while somebody is talking. Incredible. And that means they've scored a point. Sarah will keep the points and everyone will be very happy. So let's crack straight in with round one. And we're going to come to Belle Taylor first. With this one. Belle, where do you see your science career in 20 years?
Okay. Looking into the future. So, since I've already sort of left science, I think it'll have to drag You'll have to drag me back in. So I'm guessing that I will be the test subject for lots of government experiments. So some ideas of what they could use me to experiment on is, instead of super white paint to reflect light and cool the earth, they could just use me. I'm that pale. Same result, but just less squinty for everyone involved. Another option, got a very high-pitched voice, so I could be as like some sort of new age Sona, or even just like a bell of some description.
Zing.
With the uprising of AI that will happen undoubtedly in the next 20 years, I'll be kept alive purely to count traffic lights in images for the robots. And then use me to test the stretchiness of jeans when lunging, because I don't think that's tested enough. And then also just position me at the entrance of like tech buildings to just test kind of tech bros' abilities to ignore me. There we go.
20 years of Belle Taylor there.
It's gonna be good. Strap in.
Amazing. Let's fly over to Laura. Laura, tell me, what's going to be? How did I word it precisely? Because it matters. Where do you see your science career in 20 years?
So, 20 years time, I'm thinking we're in lockdown 43. Natural selection has led to a human population dominated by those able to grow a mask out of their own actual face. Boris Johnson's running out of old Etonian schoolmates that he can contract to roll out the 36 vaccines. So, he's struggling a bit. And, bodybuilders have made it into their IUCN red list of endangered species. But education's going well. Due to homeschooling, all children born after 2018 are consigned to illiteracy. I, however, am doing very well indeed. I am an oncologist turned conservationist, and I have set up a sanctuary for all species that have been threatened by the pandemic. So, highlights include the over 80s enclosure and the travel agent terrarium. And also we have the entire staff of Levi's housed by the lake, because their last recorded purchase of jeans was in 2023, roughly. And we're actually breeding our own air hostesses now in the hatchery. So if you've had your 36 COVID vaccine, come and visit us.
Incredible work. The reason, of course, that bodybuilders are in short supply is that we vet them.
Protein.
Got to learn this. Anyone who knows the history of farmed chickens knows that the common broiler chicken, the thing that everybody eats, is a descendant of a fighting chicken called the Cornish game. And they bred these chickens so big and so big and so big that they were so slow they couldn't fight anymore. And all these people looking at them were like, what do we do with these chickens that are really easy to catch and have loads and loads of tasty muscle? And that's become our chickens. So the bodybuilders, like when civilization breaks down, we're eating those fuckers first.
Cool.
Plus the
reason
steroids
never to go
help
to the gym.
keep my asthma down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the steroids they've had, that'll help me with my asthma. Let's fly over to Rod. Rod's Belle's teammate. Belle went first. Rod, tell me, where do you see your science career in 20 years?
Yeah, well, I think I've said I'm on a bit of a journey. I'm on my way to the far extremes of science at the moment. So to explain, I started out quite good at maths, and maths is obviously the language of science. It's the very, very nub of science, if you will. And if you imagine science as like a living person, and then you killed science, maybe with stabbing with a broken canonical flask, then you might just see science's soul floating up out of its dead, mutilated body, and its soul would probably look something like Maxwell's equations of electromagnetism, or possibly the complete works of Descartes. And I was good at counting stuff, so I thought I could be a mathematician, but then it turns out that actually pure maths they don't use numbers, they just use letters and like weird shapes and noises. So eventually your final year maths exam is just 5 hours of whale song while you do So I left that with physics, which, let's face it, is the science with most geek chic. all the other sciences want to be physics secretly. Just last week, if you don't believe me, physicists discovered a new fundamental force of the universe, right? Whereas biologists, they get excited when they get to name a new crab. So then I did engineering, right? Physics, really useful for lifting stuff. Engineering turned out to be loads of weird maths, so I was like, get your hokey religions out of here. So now I just run a science festival and work with sciencey people. So I think on that trajectory, in 20 years, I'll have just moved further out into the overall science universe in some really weird, wide orbits around a hard, sciencey nub.
Alice, that's science.
That was a great round, Jones. I just want to run you through the points we're taking off, Rod, in there. For saying maths is the hub of all science, not as a tool used by science, you might as well say that computers are the hub of all science. So 1 down for that. And 1 off for earlier on correcting Belle's pronunciation, and then during that answer saying canonical flask.
That is true. I did do that.
Oh, I listen very. People think I don't listen. I listen very carefully.
But perhaps he just meant that the flasks were part of the story in an intrinsic way that, you know, should be followed to the book if we're referring back to the story later.
I don't think he did. Are you trying to give him points back after that anti-biology rant? Sad and bitter man. Let's fly over, and I say fly, in a stylish DOAC jet that's chrome on the outside instead of painted. Let's go and visit Aimee Eckert. Aimee, where do you see your science career in 20 years?
With any luck, I won't have one. I will be a lady of means and leisure, and I'm going to tell you why. Because of the pandemic, I've been too nervous to leave the house, so I've been watching a lot of telly. And despite having no previous interest in motorsport, I find myself gripped and entertained by the Netflix docuseries F1 Drive to Survive. And not only was I entertained, I noticed what a beautiful, gorgeous, and nice human being driver Daniel Ricciardo seems. Anyone else? Australian, Italian demigod, Daniel Ricciardo, most beautiful man in the world, my future husband, Daniel Ricciardo. No, okay. That really made me jump. So fueled. You see, I made an engine joke there by lockdown horniness. I am planning a complete career change, and I'm sort of quite frustrated that I'm going to be proving Rod's thesis right here. I'm going to change from biology to mechanical engineering. But I'm going to combine biology and mechanical engineering together. I'm going to invent a new sort of green, climate-friendly, renewable fuel using yeast apoptosis, you know, little explosions of yeast. Because what I learned from this show is that an engine is just tiny explosions, right? And F1, they're going to be so impressed, they're going to hire me immediately. I will meet and marry Daniel Ricciardo. I will become a wealthy trophy wife. And the title of my memoirs will be Beauty and the Yeast.
Yes!
Amazing work. There was something you said I wanted to jump on, but I totally forgot what it was. That's the way these things go.
Listener, Steve Cross.
Well, sometimes I listen. Sometimes halfway through your answer, I start thinking I should download a load of music for the bonus round, but then I decide not to. Good. Right. Have we heard from everybody?
Yeah, I like Aimee joining in with the hierarchy of science there.
Oh, I'm kind of annoyed at myself for doing that.
Jones, take another one off him till he learns.
Redo the points, man. I'm taking out the wrong one.
Yeah, but it's taking points off a man, Jones. It's worth it.
You're wrong, Steve. You're wrong, Steve. If you imagine the maths is the sun at the center of the science universe, with physics close round.
Don't dig the whole rod. We need
I thought it was the nub, but now it's the sun.
Yeah, now it's the sun.
Probably both. Nub or the sun.
Stop taking points of yourself. I've got to rewrite.
And ending that round on about -20. Is that
Yeah, it's not XKCD live, Rod. Let's find out how the scores are going. Let's go all the way to Wales and then have to go back to London because she doesn't live in Wales anymore, and then have to go up to Scotland because she's not in London at the moment to talk to Jones the Mouse. Jones, how are them scores looking?
Well, absolutely nobody will be surprised to learn that our monkey teacher is in second place with 16 points.
16.
But I mean, not that far ahead, but currently ahead, Cancer Gals on Indig Now.
Oh, yes. New viewers, Sarah Jones only knows odd numbers in Welsh, and only knows even numbers in English. Fantastic. Let's move on to round 2. This is how round 2 works. I'm going to give the... Oh, yeah. Sorry, we have a question. Aimee, can you brew beer while driving the F1 cars? No. I remembered the thing I wanted to say to Aimee. The first time I ever heard the phrase F1 instead of Formula 1, I assumed that it's what the Queen used to say to Prince Philip when she wanted a shag. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, let's go on to round 2. Round 2, I'm going to give all of our teams the title of a PowerPoint slide, and they're going to tell me bullet points that would be on that PowerPoint slide if that PowerPoint slide existed. So teams, try not to talk over each other, but also try not to leave any gaps that are too long. Now you're all completely paralyzed with fear at the thought of saying anything in this round. So tell me, teams, what are real-world situations where A-level chemistry is useful?
The manufacture and distribution of methamphetamines.
Pronouncing conical.
Being able to both distill gin and make hand sanitizer in the coming apocalypse.
Smelling things.
Aromatic chemistry to detect relative levels of bullshit in local election flyers.
Now, Sarah Jones actually had her job detecting shit once, so she can judge the accuracy of that answer.
It wasn't shit. It was smelling a landfill. I like to clarify there.
Sorry. Keep them coming, friends. Real world situations where A-level chemistry.
Having done so many metal flame tests that I can turn Candlemas into an LGBTQ pride event.
Just lighting fires for me.
Yeah.
Understanding the periodic table when you want to have sex.
Excuse me. Making jelly
how hard chemists do it on the table or do it periodically, Jake?
Rapid organic analysis when something flies in your mouth when you're cycling downhill.
Nice.
It's good for passing the A-level chemistry exam.
Very good.
That's the canonical answer.
You'll have notes on A-level chemistry as well, and they have their uses. For example, fire kindling and loo roll. Got to conserve because of the demic.
Propping up your laptop with practical chemistry for AS and A-level OCR 5th edition for your virtual wine tasting.
Stealing glassware from a lab.
Being tricked into a lucrative and unethical career in the petrochemical industry.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a perfect equilibrium of acids and alcohols the first time back in a club after lockdown.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's move on to our second PowerPoint slide. Friends, what will scientists be doing when lockdown ends?
Divorcing?
2 for Belle for that one. The correct answer. Let's keep them coming.
Working in their
Swapping their socks and slippers for their best going out socks and sandals.
Aimee.
Working in their new job in cyber.
Yes.
Conducting a systematic review of all the pubs and bars within a 10-mile radius of the lab.
Quickly deleting all their emails where they advised Boris Johnson to shake hands with COVID patients and Dominic Cummings to test his eyesight by going on long drives.
Bullying in real life instead of over Zoom.
Brushing their lustrous lockdown beards. Inhaling helium.
Getting back to their old scientist routine of Friday nights with cocaine and sex parties.
Finishing their virtual versus non-virtual dating paper with the conclusion that we're really just a lot more desirable when no one ever gets to meet us.
Mouth pipetting with wild abandon.
Yep. I've written locking themselves in the lab with a bottle of ethanol.
Lobbying government for continued social distancing at work.
Having more comments than questions.
Spreading rumours they died of COVID, so undergrads leave them alone.
Finally respecting the arts. Just kidding.
That's brilliant. It's in the movie Done.
Right, let's move on to our third PowerPoint slides. Now, long-term viewers will know that sometimes I write these in a strange mood when I'm tired or I've had too much to drink, which led to our greatest ever question, where are my keys? But today, this is what I wrote genuinely on the questions when I sent them out to these lovely people. Friends, why did I get out of bed this morning?
To torture us?
Because of your inability to control your biological urges, leading to have twin offspring who hate you and don't want you to ever feel rested or happy ever again.
They actually love me, no point for that.
Oof.
Although they mostly say they love me, but once this week my daughter said, I don't like Dada. And then she said, Dada too spicy.
Yes, April.
Keep them coming. Why did I get out of bed this morning?
So the cat activated the Rube Goldberg, Robert Wallace and Gromit style machine by my bed.
You needed a poo?
Bed.
The limitations of the human bladder.
Now, Laura, you had one.
Okay, Benson's for bed said you have 5 minutes before they called the police.
Perfect. Let's go to Belle, who had one that we missed.
Oh, I said you needed a poo.
That's also the correct answer.
Because you live in London, the city that never sleeps due to its above average rates of anxiety and depression.
And alcoholism.
To hear Steve use the Willem scream effect on this show.
Wait, have you written why you got out of bed, Amy?
Yes.
Because it's why did I get out of bed? It's not why did you get out of
I'm
bed.
so vain, so egotistical. I interpreted the
Amazing. Good. Any more?
Because
got
you're
aluminium
excited to spend
room.
Friday evening playing with your Belle.
Slow down, Belle. Go.
Oh, I was just going to say your aluminium bedroom was too reflective.
Unfortunately, I now share a house with a normal, which means there is no aluminium furniture in my bedroom. It's all here in the shed. Rod, you were about to say.
I just thought you were excited about spending your Friday evening playing with your Belle.
Yes.
I know this one applies to Steve as well as me. We both got out of bed to hear Sarah say the number 5 in Welsh.
Quite
It
right.
happened.
Amazing answers. Amazing answers. Big round of applause for all of our teams, wherever you are, listeners. Let's give our players a round of applause. And we're going to fly over to Jones, and we're going to find out what do them numbers look like, Jonesy. Jonesy, how's the numbers?
Well, Steve. Obviously, in last place, we've got everybody else in the world
Yes.
consistently not pulling their weight. But in third place, we've got Steve Cross currently on 1 points.
1 point.
In second
Ahead of
place,
Jones.
in second place, coming in round the corner, we've got our monkey teacher on 36.
Oh, that's a good score.
That's very
That's a
high
good score. And the question is, can she keep doing the accent when she does a Welsh number?
But just pipping them to the... I've already lost it. Just
What would
pipping them to the
Thatcher
post.
sound like doing Welsh?
Just pipping them to the post, we've got Cancer Girls on Trading Scythe.
It's still
That was
anyone's game.
wonderful accent.
Amazing, right? It's round 3. And in round 3, we're going to go the same order as round 1. Here's the question for round 3. Friends, vaccines for viruses are all the rage. But not what non-disease things do you think humanity should develop vaccines for and why? And we're going to start with Scotland's own Belle Taylor.
Scotland's own. I'm sure they'd agree. All right. So my vaccine would give the vaccinated the power of personal space. So before COVID, many didn't give a thought to intrusively standing in your personal space. And I don't want society to revert back to thinking it's okay to be within licking distance of. So we've all been there, heavy breathing by your ear, a bloke that keeps walking into your zone when you're repeatedly backing away. So this vaccine would stop those in their tracks. So just as they'd step in, they'd hit a buffer zone. So first dose, this would be like a gentle cushion, about 65% protection. With the second dose, this would be a full-blown airbag that ejects those that dare to cross the boundary just out of it entirely. So I think this would revolutionize the world. Think of tube or train journeys. No longer would your nose have to be like nestled into someone's armpit. Men would no longer be able to intrude upon you dancing at a club, and you'd just be protected by your lovely cushion of vaccination without having to, I mean, you could keep it up, but I do very pointy elbow dancing in a club to get people away from me. And I mean, it could be the end of elbow dancing, which is a sad thing. So maybe not. Optional booster for this vaccine would be to protect you from the animal of your choice too. So I would get 2 boosters for both dogs and horses, because I don't want them coming into my personal zone once they smell my fear, much like the fear I have for men.
Amazing. But Belle, I mean, how would any man teach a woman any kind of sport or musical instrument if he couldn't go, hold on, love, and just put both arms all the way around? The creepiest. Oh, wait, I'll show you how to hold your snooker cue, tennis racket, guitar. What? I am a man, and that makes me feel awkward. I can't imagine how women feel when they think about it. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful answer. Let's fly over to Laura. Laura, tell me.
Hello.
What do we need to develop vaccines against?
So I'm proposing the creation of a vaccine so monumental it will change the face of British culture. It will disrupt the very fibres of small talk. See if you can get what I'm thinking of. It will inoculate something against something so monstrous that its rollout will transform the lives and the camping holidays of millions. Anyone guess?
Something to do with the weather?
Yes, I'm going to vaccinate against the British weather. So that's right. Too long have the British suffered under this inexorable plague. So just look at the stats here. Let's go back to the data. The British weather negatively affects the lives of approximately 99.9% of the population. I'm excluding here all physicists. Sorry, Rod, because they live their lives without ever encountering daylight. It's also been widely reported that only 40% of Brits are waterproof. And what is more, less than 10% have sufficient body hair-based immunity. So, very, very exciting. However, we must proceed with caution. The side effects of this vaccine are potentially extreme. Our models have predicted 90% decrease in coffee machine small talk and the complete collapse of the Key Stage 3 geography syllabus. So, I hope you'll be in agreement, however, that these risks are far outweighed by the benefits, and we should all be vaccinated against the British weather.
Hard to argue with, so I won't. Instead, I'm going to fly over to Rod, lives in an area which has notoriously bad weather, being in the west, and therefore gets rained on a lot, something to do with jet streams, something. There you go, I did Key Stage 3 geography. Rod, what do you want to create a vaccine against, and why?
I'm going to create a vaccine against flat earthers. I think I've got three points in this. Firstly, have they never been to a beach and seen a ship go over a horizon? Do they think like Johnny Depp is just waiting there on the horizon, just like sinking them for rum? That's the only explanation for that. Secondly, I'm just offended by the grammatical construction of the term flat earther. Like, what the hell's an earther? And are these people flat? At best, flat earth, there should be something that describes someone who goes out and like maybe their job hobby, they flatten the earth. That could be a flat earther, and they could do my garden, and then they'd have a purposeful role in society, at least that be something. But I don't think any of it makes sense. So, like, how does it even work? So, these people, these flat earthers, do they just not see round things? Is it like a disability, like colour blindness? They just can't see shape, maybe. And we think we should treat them like that and maybe get the new wobbly glasses, like they come like circus mirrors. And to you and me, we put them on and everything just feel comical, like when you move your head up and down on the London Underground against the window, which everyone does because it's hilarious. But for flat earthers, it would be like an epiphany. They'd suddenly see curves and like wavy lines where before everything was like grid paper, like maths books used in school, like 8-bit computer games from the 90s. And like YouTube and Facebook would suddenly be filled when you made these glasses with these tear-jerking reaction videos where this like 8-year-old flat earther would put on wobble glasses and their impoverished parents had like sold their kidneys to buy, and like little Jimmy would like stare out at the new wavy world and the beauty that he's never seen before, always been hidden to him. Is this how y'all see the world? And they cry as everyone around them struggles and fails to hold back their tears until then everything just looks like pixel art. Look, my frisbee, my soccer ball, why isn't it rolling away? And that would get loads of internet heads. That'd be brilliant. So I think we should treat flat earthers as they probably really are, which is simply normal, intelligent people with a potentially treatable disability. And if it's not that, we should kill them.
So, Rod, I realise you're anti-science conspiracies. Let me ask you this. Did the government kill off all birds in the second half of the 20th century and replace them with advanced drones to spy on the populace?
Well, they did. They did.
Thank you. That's good enough for me. Let's move on. Hashtag birds aren't real. Do research. Birds aren't real. Just do research. Just type birds aren't real into anything. They're not. But drink birds aren't real beer. Buy I Am a Lie t-shirts. Do your research, friends. Like, why are there so many birds and why are they looking at me? Makes you think. Let's fly over to Aimee. We're going to find out from Aimee. Now, we've done this way round because Belle has to do the bonus round last. We're going to Aimee to tell us. Aimee, what do we need vaccines against?
Okay, so as a result of living in a very hipster-heavy city that is Brighton, I would like to vaccinate against 2 particular strains of terrible men with terrible media opinions. Strain number 1, the movie man. Now, this isn't all men who enjoy movies, but this is the particular type of man who won't shut up about Quentin Tarantino and what a genius he is. Oh my goodness, you haven't seen The Godfather is another catchphrase of theirs. He is a big fan of sort of vintage movies with strong female protagonists like Alien and The Terminator, but if he watches a modern day Star Wars, then he freaks out because, oh my god, women using lightsabers. So yeah, really, really terrible. Strain number 2, vinyl guys.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, you've never listened to Pink Floyd on vinyl. So the technology of this vaccine is very similar to the technology of this vaccine is very similar to Belle's. I think we should collaborate. It is a force field technology. So to be clear, the vaccine is for anybody wishing to avoid these people. The compliance wouldn't be high enough if we try to inoculate the terrible media men. So the vaccine will protect you from this irritating white noise, because let's face it, they normally are. And you will hear a peaceful, relaxing sound proven to lower anxiety and blood pressure, a cat purr, followed by boom. The irritant will be forced away from you if they get closer than 6 feet. Side effects mean that the number of your Bumble and Hinge matches will decrease, but the quality of your individual matches will increase.
I just wanted to say, if you want to absolutely get rid of those types of men permanently, you just say, what do you think of the football last week?
Yeah.
They're shit scared of that sort of thing. Brilliant. Right, that's the end of the round. Big round of applause for all of our players. It is the end of the round, isn't it? Yes. Big round of applause for all of our players. Marvellous work. Tell me, Jones, how's it looking?
Well, it's still very close. In second place, still we've...
Have I not been penalising Rod enough? Royd. That's why he's so aggressive. What are the scores, Jones? Come on.
Well, due to Rod, we've got a pair of pimps going on here, because they are on.
Yes.
Him.
Yes! The golden number.
Life worth living.
But just
Today-
sneaking in just ahead, 2 points more, Cancer Girls on Pimp Take Scythe.
Yes. This is going to be the round that sorts it all out. We're into the bonus round. Look how happy Belle is. Here is today's bonus round challenge. Some of you will have heard that hyper-aggressive late 90s rapper DMX is dead. In his honor, please write and perform a rap in any style about your favorite bit of science. Yes, we're not going to do beats because then YouTube would mark this as copyrighted with whatever beats I put on it, unless one of you wants to beatbox it.
No.
We're going to go straight to Aimee for our first rap.
Okay. So in honor of DMX, I've done a parody of X Gon Give It To Ya.
Yes.
I'm going to do it in annoying sort of, private school student doing a breathy acoustic cover of a hip hop song by a black artist, because that was very
5 million hits on YouTube immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to leave you to guess the subject matter. Okay. Can I say the F word?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Cats gon' give it to ya. Fuck waiting for humans to get infected. Felix gon' deliver to ya. Knock, knock, look down. The microscope, it's real. Toxoplasma gondii. Extracorporeal. Cat shitting in the litter box. Getting busy digging. Wash your hands. Or ooh, cyst. Gonna come swinging. First they're gonna wait. Then they'll sporulate. Form tissue cysts. Parasites coexist. Cat's gon' give it to ya. They're gonna give it to ya. Cat's gon' give it to ya. Toxoplasmosis. Felix gon' give it to ya.
Incredible. The accent combined with the words, very much verging on what can only be described as spoken word there.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Ian Bokett, our friend, the technician and spoken word artist and Slough resident, will be overjoyed to hear you doing that. It would fulfill many of his life's greatest ambitions together. Let's fly over to Rod. He's a big fixture on the Swindon Grimes team. You're all laughing. I bet there is one, because Swindon's horrible. It's just the right conditions to generate a really powerful musical scene. Let's fly over to Rod, and Rod, are there any words you want to say before you drop some fresh rhymes? Alex Lethbridge is watching this, just planning to kill me.
One of them was a version of X Gon Give It To You, but I'm going to do the other one. Because frankly, no one really wants to hear a 43-year-old Welshman rap. So I'm going to do this.
I do. That's why I wrote the question.
Closer to my cultural heritage in recognition of physicists. Yo, yo, yo. There once was a team in the States testing UNG2 model rate. They found a new force, yelled, "Fuck me, of course. That explains how the universe gyrates." They've been struggling with dark energy. They didn't fit how they knew gravity. The new force was a pickle. It's so excitingly echo that all the business did a little pee. Now we're destined to win the Nobel Prize. I've been trying out speeches for size. The standard models in tatters, but what really matters with each breakthrough, a flatter the thighs.
Jones, quick point off. I don't think that counts as rap. I mean, people are like, rap, it's just poetry. But times
that
it's
is
not.
That is what rap is in Wales, though, because rap's actually a bit different in Wales.
No, I've heard Goldie Looking Chain and Steve, the Welsh rapper.
Yeah, but rap, the word in Welsh, actually means embarrassing limerick. So
MC St. David's Day. Just running commentary from the guests. Right. We're going to fly over now to Laura. Laura, let's find out how somebody with oars on the wall behind her.
Yeah,
raps.
But you can no longer see them. So anyone who wasn't there for that part will not be confused. Anyway, so I don't know who DMX is. So I've just done something about COVID because topical. So a tasty bat sandwich is how it began in a province in China we know as Wuhan. 'Twas the ill-fated snap that just happened to be the beginnings of global catastrophe. Stay alert, Boris said from his hospital bay, having failed to spot COVID the previous day. Not surprising, however, it's easy to hide as a virus that's only 0.2 microns wide. But upon the horizon, a glimmer of light was scientists working by day and by night. Vaccine vials were checked and the paperwork done, and a microchip stirred into every one.
Iconic.
I liked. Yeah. It was the catastrophe that I liked.
Squeezing every syllable. Relatable. I did
Phenomenal. Enjoy it. DMX was a rapper, Laura.
I mean, I gathered that much, but
in one of his last recorded pieces from 2019, he was describing how dark he is and how good he is at rapping and will defeat all other rappers, but using some really good, like, scientific stuff. He said of himself, I'm global warming. I am the Ebola virus. It's like serious stuff. That's from the song Just in Case by DMX, Swizz Beatz and Rick Ross. It's the theme music to the song to The Godfather of Harlem, which is a wonderful show you should all watch. Check out the music video on YouTube. It's very watchable, mainly because you've got Rick Ross, rapper, excellent rapper, but he's doing his impression of what a gangster is, but he's got to do a scene with a professional actor doing his idea of what a gangster is. And it's a bit like you can almost feel the professional actor laughing as he does it. But anyway, let's fly over to Belle, who's been looking forward to this round. Do you want a beat?
No. Very
Do you want
fast.
a bed?
Oh, perfect. No.
Belle Taylor, who within 5 minutes of being sent the questions had screen grabbed them, sent them to me on WhatsApp with the line, "What?" Standing ovation for Laura in our living room. Come on.
Lovely. Very good.
Let's fly over to Belle. Belle. Do you want me to drop your beat? Are you all right?
No, please don't. So in response to my screenshot to Steve, he did tell me to aim for mediocre. So I'm very much...
Yeah, that's the rule of comedy. When you're writing comedy, aim to write barely acceptable comedy. If you try and write good comedy, you'll never write anything.
So my rap is very much like in the vibe of Louis Theroux doing a rap. That was my inspiration. All right. Might be hard to guess, but this is my very first rap / poem. Okay. I love big flames. I think they're hot. I love small flames. They're cute and squat. I love blue flames, but not to touch. I love red flames, but not as much. It's getting kind of warm. I'm writing in my diary, testing out my rhymes. I'm feeling pretty fiery. I've been burning up all night. It's getting pretty sweaty. It's spicy up in here, like we're in the Serengeti. Back to chorus. I love people.
Sorry, I played that. It makes Jones feel good. That's from a game where Wales beat England by 27 points. Have you got any more, Belle?
It was just back to chorus with two slightly different last lines. So
okay, well, let's keep spooling on. That was so good. Next time I want to hear you do it in the Notorious B.I.G.'s voice. That's the end of all of the competition. The only thing left to do is to sort out who has won, and to do that, we're going to go over to Wales. Jones is just recovering from hearing the national anthem there. It's just always...
That is my jam. So I've calculated all the scores, and of course, still in last place. We've still got everybody else in the world still not pulling their weight on zero points.
Including
in third place, including me this time. I know I didn't get any points. Terrible business. In third place, we've got Steve Cross on 1 point still.
All I wanted was one, just to say I got one.
But coming in second place, It's unfortunate they've been behind the whole night, but they are finishing strong on the sexy number of Chwedig Now.
Sexiest.
It's such a sexy number. Sarah forgot how to speak Welsh.
I did. I have sex in English for some reason, so I got a bit flustered there. And of course, the winners tonight are Cancer Gals, steaming ahead at the last point on Scythic Tree.
Oh, it's been a tight game all the way through. Congratulations to the Cancer Girls. Commiserations to whatever the other team was called. It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure playing with you all. I'm going to go over to the captain of the Cancer Girls now, Aimee Eckert, because I just want to know whether you've got any words for the losers, any advice for them, or any taunting or anything like that.
I mean, both of your mistakes were not being biologists.
We did science instead.
No.
That's number one.
Amazing, right? We'll leave it on that note of bitterness from Swindon resident Robert. Bitter once again. The choices he's made in his life, but that's fine. Let's. Next week there isn't one next week. Unless I organise one really quickly. So check scienceshowoff.org tomorrow to see if I've pulled one together really quickly. We haven't got one the next week because we're doing a secret inside thing for NHS stuff only. There will be one the week after that. The acts are starting to get booked in. They're very good. I can't announce them because I haven't got a full set. But so there will definitely be one on May the 7th. There might be one next week. Watch scienceshowoff.org and twitter.com/scienceshowoff and facebook.com/scienceshowoff to see if I can book enough acts in, let's say, 15 hours to make it happen. They'll be well prepared, won't they? That's definitely one to be worth. It's just all wraps, that one. It's been a pleasure playing with you all. Now, friends, do you have anything any of you would like to advertise to our wonderful viewers now or in the future?
No.
Aimee,
Visit Swindon.
Visit Swindon from Rod.
I was just
Look
going to
at
say,
it.
I wrote a sort of, I don't know if it deserves to be called a rap, but there was a cat theme in there. So I have a beautiful cat. If you want to see pictures of my cats, follow me on Twitter at Dr. A. Eckert.
Dr. A. Eckert.
She's beautiful.
We'll
Most
remember all
beautiful
of
cats in the
that.
world.
Cat's all right as well, isn't she, Belle? Let's crack on. Right, lovely to play with all of you visitors, the audience. I'm going to send you away, and then I'm going to debrief the acts, and we're all going to have a wonderful time. So look after yourselves, everybody out there in the world. Let's have a big round of applause for all of our players. This has been Never Explain. I've been same as usual, really.